never fake it. My people. It's been a long time coming. I spent a long time running, grinding, and finding it's harder every day. Go deep into the mind of an overthinker, sitting on the brink of something new, made for a chosen few. Man, I'm tired of working for fish and chips. I'm trying to get paid.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful episode of We Are Who Our Ancestors Waited For, and we have the wonderful Kemah Thoronka with us, who is actually an attorney, we're finding out today, an immigration attorney at that. And we're going to be learning a lot more about her as we go on. And we always like to start the show with the guests giving us an introduction to let the world know who they are. So go ahead, our sister queen, and let the world know who you are, what you're all about.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Timothy. I appreciate it. As you indicated, I am Kemah Thoronka, and let me just get the biographical stuff out of the way. I'm a mother of four, grandmother of one, married. Oh, my goodness, and those are my most fulfilling roles. However, I've been privileged to have been born in the country of Liberia. I came to the United States when I was 12 years old, and I right before our war began, so we couldn't go back. And God, being so faithful to me, He's allowed me now to walk into the destiny of my calling. I am an immigration attorney. Primarily, we have 3 offices, locations around the United States: Texas, Virginia, and Maryland. We have clients all over the world, which is very fulfilling. I'm also a United States Peace Ambassador to the country of Liberia, which is an interesting thing because it's going to hopefully allow me to be able to help a project that is coming up, which is to build a facility for women and children in domestic violence. Very, very excited about that. I just love the Lord. I was called into ministry in 2019. So I'm an itinerant pastor, a minister of the gospel, travel around the world and preaching and teaching the gospel. So I'm so super excited about that. But I just so privileged to be here. I thank you for just allowing me to come here and share who I am on this show. We are who our ancestors have called us to be. So thank you.
You're a blessing to us just hearing you speak and the things that you do. I didn't know all of that about you. It's like real humbling and experience for you to bless us with your presence, you know. I'm just amazed. I didn't know all of that. You know, you got 3 office locations, you're an immigration attorney, and once we get the show going on, you're going to find out more about what I'm doing, how we could put the pieces together and help you. We're actually in the midst of creating sustainable developments in Africa right now.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
We have a lot of people that are looking to tap into different countries to invest in, and there are people. So we're all doing the Lord's work, what I call kingdom building.
Absolutely. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So I would like to give the brother King Vajana Joe opportunity to introduce himself to the world, as he always does. Each show, we like to always remind people that we have a brother in the struggle with us. Go ahead, King brother. I think his network froze.
Yeah, you know the
just as usual.
Your network froze, Brother King.
Did the network freeze?
Yeah, his network froze.
Yeah.
But the network is okay.
It is?
Hello? I can see you now.
Now,
we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, it's good now.
Oh, okay. Oh, perfect. Thank you. I'm very sure that Mr. Timothy will actually edit all of this part that we're having problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am super glad to be here one more time. You know, for us, like we always present this show, for us, this is not a talk show. It's a doers show, whereby we gather people around the world, especially people that looks like us, that are doing something. That there have been a lot of talking, man. Like people have been talking and talking and talking, and nothing has been changed much. So for us, we believe that we are who our ancestors say that we are, and we have found ourselves in the particular time that our ancestors believe that is the time for the total liberation of the Black race, and that can only be done when people wake up and discover that we are the generation to save the rest of Africa. So just like we always bring on here the best of people. And for anybody listening to or watching us, I will share this conversation that I had with Timothy the other time. I told him that I can bring somebody on this show, the person that can draw a lot of viewers, and these are people who are more like celebrities. Should I bring them on the show? And he told me something very profound, and I kept thinking about it. He said, Keith, we're not looking for people who just talk. We don't need those people on this show. They talk too much. In fact, I sent him pictures of people who are like celebrities when it comes to Africa. I said I can get them. So according to me, I was thinking that Timothy is gonna be excited that I'm gonna bring those people, and he said no. This is not a talk show.
Oh.
I was like, and that changed my perspective completely about what we are doing. And if you listen, when Timothy told you that we are connecting and trying to see how we can develop Africa, that is exactly what we are doing. We have before you came on the show, I was just explaining to him what Congo is, the richest place on planet Earth. And right now, we are going into partnership with the government of Congo to make sure that we connect. Here is the thing, and let me say it on my introduction very quickly. The richest, strongest, smartest Black people are the African Americans. And I don't want anybody to take this out of context. And here is the thing. And there is no blessed land like Africa. What will happen if the smartest, strongest Black people connect back to their own continent, which is the richest continent on planet Earth? What do you think will happen? It will be a easy takeover of the black race, leading the globe one more time again. My friend sent me a video of embassy from China and one of the Arab country. The people who are struggling to come to Africa are the Chinese, are the Arabs. So Africa is open for them to come and partake. But the people that we do not see on the continent are our brothers and sisters that looks like us, but they are not here because they have told them lies about Africa. They say it's a jungle, it's a darkest continent, it's a shithole. I'm sorry for using that word, man of God, a woman of God, I'm sorry. It's a shithole, it's all of those stuff. But now that keeps the Black people away from their motherland, which is the richest place. So here on this show, there is nobody censoring our show. We say exactly how it is. If we want to hear, this is one thing that the truth does. It can hurt you or it can change you. So here we just about the truth, and I have totally come to agree with Mr. Timothy. We are not here to bring celebrities on the show. We are here to bring people who are doing unimaginable things for our people. Once again, I remain your brother in the struggle, King Fazan Ajo. I have authored at least 7 books to my name, and they're all about pushing the ideology of who we are as Black people. I look forward to having a very awesome show as we go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We need more people like you, like the Sister Queen, to be on this show and to be in the world promoted as our leaders instead of having these puppet promoted as our leaders. And that's why God put it on my heart to create this platform to let the world know the people who are doing the most for our people, they're not on TV. You know, they're not being promoted.
That's right. That's right.
There's a whole misconception of how you were saying Black people think that Africa's a dark planet, what they call it. But we don't have that conception. We know that Africa is the richest country in the world. TV is the tool used by Satan to keep us divided. And I'm happy that I grew up in the church and I wasn't influenced by TV, and I have the spiritual connection with our Father and our Creator to guide me. And that's what created this platform and what draws people like the Sister Queen and other leaders that you see we've had on this here platform. Now, I want to talk about more about the immigration work that our sister does as a lawyer, because we need her more than she could imagine with the work that King Brother Fajan know that I'm doing to connect our people back to Africa. We actually have people, when I was telling you about the sustainable development that we're doing in Africa, they're about to come to Africa and Nigeria on November 2nd and be there for 2 weeks, our brothers and sisters from America, to invest in 50,000 farmers. And they want to replicate that wherever we could connect with government figures, like you were speaking on, the relationship that you have. Like I say, we could use you as a chess piece in God's kingdom, the way God created you to be.
Yes.
So it's only by God's design that we're here speaking today. And we're only 5 days away from our brothers and sisters from America going to Africa to invest in our people. That's what I mean by kingdom building.
That's it. You said it right. Definitely.
Yes. And so what I like to call people like you, like key holders, we want to give you the keys to hold so that you could continue doing God's work and building his kingdom. We've had brothers, you know, it ain't just about us. That's why we have the rainbow, you know. So we've had brothers from Samoa. We've had Europeans on this show, and they all have the same state of mind and the same mentality. They want Africans to own Africa, and they want to connect with Africa and make sure that Africans have what they need. We're not the only people, Black people and Africans are not the only people tired of the motherland being raped. The whole world is tired of Africa being raped. And that's why we need sisters like you. And man, I can't believe I'm on the show with you right now. You just don't know. I'm like, wow.
We're definitely gonna have to connect contacts then, because you know, my brother, we have always, when we first came from Liberia, you know, growing up, we came in an era where our Black brothers and sisters didn't know much about Africa, especially. And we were teased and we were bullied, and we literally had to break that stereotypical knowledge about what we are and what we do. And as our brother said, it's the richest part of the world. God designed the world and placed us in the most richest part. It is rather unfortunately that we are not developing those riches. And then we have the Europeans, especially the United States. Where I come from, Liberia, of course, you know, the United States have a very special relationship with our country. Now, after the war, when so many eyes were on Liberia, forgiving their debts and things like that under Ellen Johnson's administration, we had the world sort of coming down. How do we develop? And we have the Chinese really massively developing. The Chinese are very strategic China and the U.S. are competing right now with most of the western part of Africa because it has its richest soil. And I know he kind of spoke about China, and if America doesn't buckle up, you know, the Chinese are infiltrated, especially even in Ghana right now. We have some connections to the Ghanaian government. Of course, some of my clients are very high in the government, like the brother of the vice president and things like that. So I also have connections with the current government. One of the sister that is now the chief political advisor, she was actually running, and she had asked me to run with her and if she had won, to be her chief of staff. But we decided to place our support behind the current president of Liberia. So the economy of Africa is certainly it's a chess game going on right now. So I so appreciate the fact that what we here in America, especially the Africans in the diaspora, one of my special missions is to begin now to help us migrate back home, because some of us have come here in the country, especially the Nigerians. We've studied, we've had professional expertise, and we are here, you know, rather than going back home and giving back and developing. So that is one of my goals for 2025, to begin this initiative as well. So I so appreciate what you're talking about, taking people back home, especially the Black Americans, to see where they're from and invest in where they're from. That's the only way we're going to leave from the mindset that we have, especially on the continent of Africa, in our government system, in our structural system, in our societal systems. That when we have the integration of really brilliant minds going back home, investing, but not at the top level, but at the grassroots level. So this, I truly, truly appreciate. It gets me more excited just talking to you. Just exciting.
I like how the brother, he was saying that Congo has a lot of rich minerals and resources.
They do.
But he said the land is fertile. But that's what makes it such rich, is because the land is fertile. That's why it has so many minerals and resources, because of the fertile land. And it's not like not just like that in Congo. It's like that all over Africa.
It is.
Africa is the most fertile continent in the world. That's why you have Chinese, Arabs, and the Europeans. They know this. When they call Africa a dark continent, they don't call it a dark continent because it's poor or because of the skin. It's because of a lack of knowledge that people have, and that they know that they created that lack of knowledge in people's mind over here in America, and try to create a stigma like the stereotypes that you had to face when you came over here. That's why they call it a dark continent, because of the images and all the different negative thoughts and stuff that they presented to us over here in America about Africa.
But that's true. I mean, if I want to steal something from you, and you have people around, the first thing I want to do is isolate, and I want to poison the minds of people who can protect you. So what they're doing is because that whole propaganda was not, we're going to sell the dark continent theory to white Americans or to Europeans, because they know. We're going to sell it to the people who we know belong there, so that they don't go there and take what belongs to them, so we can go and take what belongs to them. And so for all these millennia, they told us we're not worth it. Meanwhile, even they were able to tell you that it's on the continent that you're not, worth it. And so we believed it. And if they come in, for example, in Liberia, we had right now, we had our rubber, which is Firestone. We produced that. Wow. We I think it was under the Dole regime. Rideau is, he was assassinated or killed. He had leased that's the rights to the rubber Firestone plantation for almost 99 years. Wow. So now you have these white people are in the country producing, using the labor of the people, paying them very little importing people into the country. See, the thing is, even with the Chinese, when they come into the country, into these different countries, they produce, they export about almost 100% of the profit back out. So therefore, then they use the labor of the people and pay them cheap labor. I'm still flabbergasted with that whole thing, but they were able to manage to get us to feel we're not worth it.
Yeah,
So
when they do that everywhere else, they like to call those sweatshops. But why don't you get mad about you doing it in Africa?
yeah. They call it human rights violation.
Yeah. I mean, you're the one who invented human rights violations, but it's okay for you to violate the humans in Africa and the child labor laws?
That's what's happening. So it's good that shows like this is opening the eyes of the people, opening the eyes of the people so that they can understand, oh, look at a sister, look at a brother. They are doing, even in the midst of these countries, they are doing well. So if they can survive there, certainly we also can survive. And then even letting them know how worthy they are, how wealthy in terms of the rich mineral resources that these countries are. Maybe they will begin now to protect what they have. You can't come to the U.S. and just operate like that. You're like, they have set up a structure, especially through the immigration laws. You can't just come and set up shop, but in most of these African countries, they can go and set up shop easily.
It's like, I don't know if people in Africa know that the west coast of Africa was known as the gold and ivory coast, which means like it's just full of riches and wealth, period. So I don't know why.
The structure, especially in the government's systems, in most of it's the ideology of corruption is so woven that the very minimum people know what they're sitting on. But if someone gets in government, their goal is to take as much as they can, and then the vast majority of the people, they suffer. So it still perplexed me how Europeans were able to come and take a group of people from their home and bring them here. Psychology, they're in their minds and telling them this is the same theory of let me devalue you, and so you think you need me. And then I'm going to use what you have to give you back a little bit. That's just how it's been set up since the creation.
Yeah.
Sad.
But the brother King Fajan, he always tell me about how the Africans over there, they place a lot of value on the Europeans. They place more value on the European thought, European views and opinions of Africans more than they do our own. They see the Europeans more value than they see our own people. That's a huge issue.
That's a huge issue. The measure of life is how do we live like that? We want to go to their country. We want to do this. We want to do that. I mean, now thankfully we have seen a very slight shift in, oh wow, we can do this. Our country is good too. In my travels, I've seen a very slight. I mean, the majority of people still want to come to the U.S. I mean, especially I do immigration law. Everybody wants to come here because this is the land flowing with milk and honey. This is the land that you can come in opportunities, and truly we are. In every sense of the word, we are. However, I'm thankful that over my years of traveling and in ministry, you do have some people that feel I'd rather stay in my country. Libya, for example, you don't see a lot of them traveling because of the way their government is set up. They provide everything for them, housing, they pay for your school, they pay for your marriage, so Libya, a lot of them don't travel out because their government provide everything for them, especially when Gaddafi was there. Everything was there. So it really is, I'm pleased of the valuation that some of them are now placing on themselves. And that's why you see Nigerians, a lot of them now are going back home. When they come to school, they go back home, to help the people, to help develop what they've learned. Right now, as an attorney, I'm hoping to go back home and take the bar exam there, and hopefully start a practice there. Begin to help to shape the judicial system, because corruption is in every aspect of most of these African governments. There's no initiative to really what they have, they keep for themselves. And I'm not saying it to be able to denigrate our African governments. They have strong governments around Africa as well, but we must also call it what it is. Why the problem exists, why we think we don't have it, why we think our hands are always out, why do we feel we are less than. It is a system that has been set from the beginning of time. And in order to undo that, it'll take people like you, people like me, who are just talking about the fact that, no, this is not how it is. You're very wealthy. Your country has these resources, and what the dynamics are. Why people are coming into your country. Why you see Europeans are coming into your country and then taking out what you have. You must have something. That's why they're doing that. But you're so right.
So a woman of God, you don't need to be apologetic when you said the poor governance that we have on the continent. In fact, the 54 dysfunctional states that we call country, there is no functioning government anywhere. And I am saying it, because I am here. I was born and brought up on the continent, and I have been pushing the ideology of creating a better place for us, the Black people. Here is the thing: we cannot blame our people for living, because it doesn't matter how great a place is. If you have a wrong manager, it's going to run everything down. And over the years, that is what has been happening on the continent. You got people who are obsessed with their pockets and their families. And in as much as, because I have been preaching this message for a very long time, and there are places that people will criticize me and say, no, it's because of the Western power influencing us. Listen here. The thing is this: we can blame the 40 colonialism as much as we want, but the day that we stand up and say enough is enough, that is when these people will stop using us. See, the person who is taking from you doesn't know when to stop. It's you that is giving that know when to stop.
That's right.
So if we do not stand up and say, okay, cool, we have given enough, you have raped us enough, you have abused us enough, that will stop. That if we do not get up and say that, they are going to continually do it. I go from one high school to another. I've been to like hundreds of high schools, talking to young people, how we are going to reclaim our dignity back as Black people. And one thing I have come to understand is this: it doesn't matter how much we put effort in trying to get our people back to the light. If we continually elect leaders with no vision, our effort would not amount to anything. I always lament with Timothy about this. I put together a book called The 40 Voters Commandment. So the 40 Voters Commandment is actually the book that is written in order to take power from the microscopic corrupt politicians and give it to the masses. It doesn't matter how powerful, it doesn't matter how powerful a politician seems to be. That power is given to him or her by us, the masses. They have made us so poor to a point that even our very integrity is prized.
Yeah.
So when I put together this book, I remember Nigeria was having their election, They had me on their national TV. When I spoke about that book, they never wanted it in their country because they know what was coming. I make sure that if you read that book, even if it is your mother that is contesting for an election, and if you see elements of corruption in her, you will not vote for her. Ghana is having the election. Ghana is having the election December.
Yes, they are.
I just wish I could. And Mr. Timothy, that is the reason why I created a GoFundMe so that people can help me to reach as many young people. Like, I just want to distribute the books to young people in any country in Africa that they are having these elections. I just want to distribute the book to them and get them understand that the future that these old people are destroying, they are not even part of it. Their children are in USA. Their children are in Europe. They're getting the best of education. We are here. See, I'm sitting right here trying to talk to you. I don't know when the electricity is going to go. And when it is gone, I am out of here.
Wow.
You see, so how can a young person not live this kind of a place? They are telling us that Africa is the future, but the future for who? The future for the Chinese, the future for the Arabs, because the poorest people on our continent are Africans. The poorest people. You see, so they have made us so poor to a point that we do not have a say. Who listen to a poor man? Who? It doesn't matter how much wisdom you have. If you are poor, nobody want to listen to you. You see, and that's why we're calling on people like you to come on the continent, own all the mines, own all the farms, own everything, so that we can be able to talk to these government people in the face. We do not like your corruption. Get out of here. And they will get out. But right now, who are we to say anything? In fact, if I open my Facebook messenger for you, the number of threat messages I receive every day.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's just like fire in my bones. That's why I cannot stop this. Or else I was supposed to stop long time ago. It's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. Wow. Wow.
They don't want anybody to know. People don't know. They talk about slavery as if it happened years ago. Meanwhile, we are still living as slaves on our continent.
Of course. Of course.
We'd like to take a break right now.
I get personal when I talk about it, though, but then
we can see the passion. But if you don't have that kind of passion to because all you're doing is, I am protecting what God has given me. It's not like your personal money or your personal property. This is what God gave me, and I want to protect it. And what you guys are not going to do is continue to perpetrate this propaganda from generation to generation to generation to generation, that even your children would think, I am not worthy to live in a country that I can have the basic needs, essential of running water, running light, and food and shelter. That is it. And you can go in some of these countries and you see, the stark disparity. Rich, poor.
Yeah.
There's very little middle people. Rich, poor. And then the vast majority of the people are poor. Poor meaning you don't have I'm not talking poor about money. I'm talking poor, just the basic essential of life. Poor. House, water, and light. That's it. And clean atmosphere and clean air. We're not asking for millions. You people want to take the millions, take it. We're just asking for you to keep the lights on a full 24 hours. We're just asking for us to have running water a full 24 hours. We're just asking to have, you're sticking us in these areas. There's no good schools. I went to Nigeria and the area where we were, because we did some work where we took food to this orphanage area, but the entire town, I was there in February and did about a 4 or 5 city tour, preaching and giving. And this town we went to, I was the first, and probably since the year started, that even brought things to the people. I'm not, and for me, I'm not into always just giving things, because people are going to eat. If you give me rice, I eat it today, that's it. I'm sitting again waiting for someone to come get me tomorrow. But what can you bring into the community that will be sustainable? And so what we decided to do, especially in Nigeria, when we went there, in that particular, we want to take the literacy of information, the information system, which is the IT, information technology. I'm trying to work with some companies now to send a bunch of laptops and computers, so that, especially for the girl child, so that they can start training them in the computer literacy. The world is, far when it comes to computer literacy. And you have most of our people, if they get a basic phone, that's about it. That's about as far as we go. But you are so right. We're not angry because we want your wealth. We are angry because we can't even have a water for 24 hours. And you got the money to keep the lights on. That's what it is. You got the money to keep the lights on. So
let's go to a break. These kinds of
conversation needs to be had.
We're going to go to a break right now. Give everybody a chance to recollect, and we'll be right back after this. Hello, thank you for joining us and staying with us, everyone. We're smack dab in the middle of another wonderful show with our sister queen, Kemah Thoronka, as we like to call our sister queens. So we would like to segue into the sustainable development portion that we were talking about earlier. That came up a couple times. That's real critical in today's time. It's not just sustainable development. It's self-sustainable development, because we want our people to be self-sufficient, to where they don't have to keep wondering where the food is going to come from, where electricity is going to come from. Like he was saying earlier, the electricity shouldn't be going off in the most richest country in the world. Our people shouldn't be worried about electricity or basic necessities when they're living in the richest country in the world. So this platform is about bringing on leaders who's going to help eradicate all of that. And I'm just blown away that we have a sister doing what she's doing, because she's going to be one of the kingdom builders that are going to help us solve these issues. And we have the resources to implement the solutions. So I wanted to tell you about our brother, and I'm going to send you some information. He's from Texas. He's an expert at building not just 3D homes, but he has the technology to build homes that are hurricane-proof. So they could withstand hurricanes and tornadoes or termite damage, everything. So you're going to be meeting him, and I want to get you on the phone with the other people who have the money to invest in these sustainable developments, so that we ain't just got ideas, we got money to implement solutions.
We got back. We ain't just talking, we walking.
Yeah. So I want them to hear from you what you need to make it easier for me, by having a video of them speaking on the need in Liberia and other places that you might have connection with authority figures, to make it easier for us to just come in and hit the ground running. Because we need people like you that already have these relationships with government officials. Instead of me going back and saying, I know this lady, we have a video that I could just send to them.
Wonderful. You got evidence. In the court of law, you got to bring evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
You have evidence.
Yeah. And not just that, you're an immigration attorney, so that means that you know about international law more than
international
all of us.
Law. Yeah, exactly. International law, how to migrate in between countries. what their laws enable you to do when you're going, especially here. And I think as an immigration lawyer, that's why I was able to connect. It's precisely why I was able to connect with a lot of government officials, because a lot of them wanted to come here into the United States, for whatever reasons. But that's just what it is. So we have a lot of the top boys who wanted to migrate here. So just that whole how to do the exchange and stuff, that would be where, especially where I would come in to be able to have a smooth transition for these teams to go into these different countries or, wherever and operate smoothly without any glitches. So we're definitely I'm definitely excited in that to connect with them.
Oh, you're like the person, the missing key piece to all of this, so that, there won't be no obstacles in our way when it comes to legalities. Because I want everything to be legit. Everything has to be legit. Just like you say, you want to start a practice over there. We have to start companies over there, and every state that we go, country that we go and work in, we're going to have to start a company in order to be able to work in these countries. So that's what we're in the process of doing as well right now, making sure that we have all our T's crossed and our I's dotted with these businesses and stuff. And like I was telling the brother, he has to talk to the farmers and make sure that they're on board to form these contractual agreements. Everything has to be binded.
And the very interesting thing is, and I think King Talk kind of hinted toward it, the thing is, a lot of people want to invest, but because again, our people, there is an element of trust that is missing. Because say you have, $1 million and you want to go into a small country like Liberia. The need is there. You can see the need. But who are you going to go to be able to help you invest that money without you worrying about, is my investment going to turn? And that is the main problem. When I talk to a lot of government officials, even the sister that was going to run for president of Liberia, the biggest issues that you will find, especially for investors, is the trust. Because a lot of people also have lost so much financially because you are entrusting you're entrusting millions of dollars with people because you're not there. And so you can go and set up the plan, but who do you trust to carry it out, to carry out these things? And it's very helpful to have someone like me, and I'm not tooting, to be able to make that connection, help find the right people that will be able to help sustain these projects that are going on into these countries or whatever countries we decide. I do work with an organization that works with, what we did was especially on the West, and now we're going into the East, the chambers of commerce. So we want to find the right people. If our investors want to go into these countries, who do we go? We don't want to just give our money to governments or just to people, because we don't know if it's going to come back, or we don't know the people who is supposed to reach will be reached. And so we start developing this operation wherein we are working with the chambers of commerce in some of these different various countries. And a lot of the embassies, a lot of them, I mean, we have probably over 30 or so, about 20 something, that is now working with us so that we are hitting your right people, the right target, instead of blindsidedly going into these countries and trying to implement projects for the people and for profit, and then worrying about, are we going to even see this develop? That's the major concern for a lot of investors. For example, in Liberia, we had no investment for years under the George Weah's administration. That's because our president, the prior president said, if you're going to come invest, it was on I'm paraphrasing, just you on your own. Like, there was no security. That's the word I'm looking for. And so I would definitely be very happy to meet with some of these people so that we can also be on a team that will stretch from the legality, from the legal side of things, as well as who do we go to when we're trying to invest for the people, and so that they can get exactly what God said they should have. So, hey, I am on board.
I know that strength is in the numbers as well. Because when I told them I want to bring 1,000 people from America, they're like, you can't do that. That's too many. I'm like, why? So I know they don't want to see 1,000 people at the doorstep angry, like, where the money at?
You trying to bring 1,000 deep?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was known for. I used to throw concerts in San Diego, all over the West Coast and Las Vegas. I used to throw concerts, hip hop concerts, taking artists from San Diego everywhere. And I was known for bringing more people to the city than the people that was in the city. So everywhere we went, yeah, they were like, whoa. Yeah, so I know
rolling
that.
Deep.
Yeah, I know how, like I say, strength is in the numbers. When you roll deep, people don't want to see it. They don't want no problems. They don't want those type of problems.
No. You don't. Because you have 1,000 miles deep, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and that's just from America.
Oh.
So the same brother I was telling you about from Pacific Island, right? When he contacted me and said that he wants the Pacific Island, which is the island of Samoa, wants to do trade with African farmers, and also he said that Hawaii and Samoa, they're like brothers and sister cities. We helped get the first ever prime minister female elected in Samoa. And the ruling party was there for like 40 years. And they didn't want to leave once they lost the election. So, they had an election, they lost, and they try to say, oh, it was rigged, it was this and that. So, exactly. Yeah, so he was like, he told me, he said, hey, can you have your brothers and sisters in Africa write letters, and the people the black leaders, can you have them write letters to Samoa and tell them to leave and honor the election? So I did that, and that didn't work. But like a month later, he called, he's like, hey, can you find out who this DJ was? Because he said some DJ dedicated a song to the prime minister, and that made them get out of office. He said it was an African DJ dedicated a song to her, and that made them leave office. And now she's been prime minister of Samoa ever since. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Oh my goodness.
They even kicked China out. They had China over there too. We had him on the guest. Yeah, we had him on the guest and on this show, and he was telling us how China was a powerful factor over there, and they had to get rid of China. Yeah, and so that's
all over. Yeah. All over China, all over.
So we was asking, how did you guys go about getting rid of China and stuff like that? So. But he's one of our brothers that's helping us develop the diaspora, because the Pacific Islands, we consider that part of the diaspora too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
exactly. and we have them. We have those type of relationships. We have the relationship with our Native American brothers and sisters already in place. So, like I say, God created the rainbow to remind us that we're not the only people that are His children. All people are God's children. So that's why we call it kingdom building. We're not just building Africa, we're building the diaspora.
Yeah. Such a rich concept, such a rich concept. And I truly am excited that we're connected to do that. Absolutely.
I'm excited that you're an immigration lawyer. Our people's going to be excited to hear that we've had an immigration attorney on the show, who's actually willing to help build the diaspora, because that's exactly what we need. One of the other guests, the brother from Sierra Leone, I just talked to him about the sustainable development and the investment that we want to do. And he was like, a sister who's from The Price is Right, she wants to be a part of this. So
that is awesome. Yeah. That is absolutely awesome. And with the immigration law, especially we've been doing a lot of what they call consular process. And so we have an opportunity to deal with a lot of the different consulates around the world, and try to build some form of relationships with them. So, I mean, again, I think you got to know the pieces and concept of the game in these different countries to play it right, so that the people will be affected in the most positive of ways. Because some of these things can be a hit, some of it can, a very small amount can be a miss. So the right players on board can make for a successful transition with these sustainable developments, because our goal is to develop the peoples that they are able to sustain what we have implemented. The sustaining is usually the issue. And that's even happened in our Christian life. In most people, they might get delivered and saved, but sustaining that is where the work is. Getting married, we're excited. I want to get married, and God prepares this right night, the right woman or the right man for you. And we women, we got to get married. We got to get married. We're so excited. And when I do some of these women's seminars, I say, don't just pray for the man to come. Pray that how am I going to be a good wife? So that when you get there, you are able to sustain being a good wife for that man that you have prayed for. Yeah. Because every man is different. So you can't just approach it, because there's no blueprint for it. So we want to be empowered with how can you make me the individual that would be good for you? And so the sustaining strength of what this project is where we need to start spearheading and praying for and finding the right people, because the wrong people in these, then all of these investments just all your hard work just kind of crumble. And that is where it's important to put the right pieces together. Because they certainly have the idea.
I've been having a lot of success finding the right people.
Yeah.
Because
yes, yeah.
What I learned is that nobody wants to get in the way of God's kingdom being built.
That's nobody
want to step in. Nobody has tried to step in front of that train.
Well, you better, and if you try, you'll see what God's gonna do to you.
Yeah. So we got China asking us to come work with them. We got the Arabs asking us to come work with them, because we have the right people. We have the right people.
There you go. It just sounds like it's been successful.
Life is about water. And with that water that I was telling you that we have, every country wants that. We've been talking to the top people. We've had meetings with them already, leaders from like the Arab countries, the Arab Bank actually, and from China. And with China, they need our homes, the self-sustainable homes. And the brother who has the self-sustainable homes, he's an expert on telling them, look, that's not going to work. What you're doing is not self-sustainable. See, because you don't have to, if it's not self-sustainable, you're not passing the feasibility test of what you're trying to do. So what you're doing isn't feasible. You're talking about you want to go in here and do these self-sustainable development, but like you say, you don't know what you're doing. You just have an idea. So the brother that I introduced him to, when I heard him talking, he was telling them, what you're doing is not self-sustainable. This is self-sustainable. That's why I mentioned the termite-proof homes and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like so. When you're going into these elements, like in Africa and all the different countries, you got to have the right type of homes to call them self-sustainable development.
That's it.
And the brother who I introduced him to, he's from Texas, Houston. He knows this. He has this knowledge. And so I told him, when you guys go over there and survey the land, you need to have him with you. And they was like, you're right. Because if you're just going to go over there,
absolutely right.
if you go over there and you just look and see and say, oh, this is what we're going to build. If you don't have them with you, it's a waste of time. And they know that.
That's it.
So
That's
he's going to be on their first trip to go over there to Africa just to do just that. Make sure that what we're doing is self-sustainable.
Self-sustainable. How does your structure look like? Like where? So what do you exactly do? Is it you work with a group who want to invest in different parts of the world, especially in Africa? They got the funding, and what is your connection like? Do you just connect people to them, or how does that work?
I identify areas where we can invest in. I already have I've been doing this for like 20 years now, which is why I was invited on board. I've had the vision. God gave me the vision well over 20 years. So God told me I would be doing this and just start sending people. So that's why I call it kingdom building. And I have a whole concept of giving people the keys to the kingdom. Key holders, key bearers, all based upon scripture. I say we're fulfilling prophecy based upon biblical principles. Like the business that we do have to be according to biblical principles. Else we're not building God's kingdom. So, and we're all kingdom builders. When I got married to my wife, I was going through our storage. We had all our stuff mixed together, right? And I found the book. It was actually a binder. When I opened it up, it says 10 keys to the kingdom. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I said, this is exactly what I'm doing. I've been building
confirmation.
Yeah, and I've had this keys to the kingdom concept in my mind forever. And I felt like Moses when he found the 10 tablets, when God gave him the 2 tablets for the 10 commandments. Because when I opened the book, I saw it was like it wasn't the first page, so a lot of pages, like over 100 pages, was missing. But I took that book, and then some months later, I went back, was going through the storage again, and I found the actual whole book, the whole binder. My wife's uncle, he was a minister, and he put together this whole concept of building God's kingdom through leadership disciples, training leaders how to be leaders according to being a disciple of God.
Fascinating.
And I felt like Moses when God gave him the 10 commandments. Yeah.
I bet I don't found the 10 commandments.
Yeah, I'm like, this is amazing. Because I'm like, this is what we need. We need to train our youth to be leaders with the principles of God. We can't just keep electing leaders that don't have godly principles in them, that is not instilled with God's ways. And God gave me the book to train them with. I didn't get this book to myself.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
I always say we're fulfilling God's prophecy because God told me that's what we're going to be doing.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow. And for a book that was there all these years, that sort of was hidden, and you just found it in the midst of all of those things. Yeah, that was the biggest confirmation of what he had called you to do, certainly. Because most of the time, if I'm going through my stuff or garage, you just put the book aside. It's rare that you open the book to see what. So that's why it's like, wow, that was a huge confirmation. Wow.
Yeah, the whole God concept was just, I opened up like, whoa, that just like hit me like, whoa. That just let me know, like you said, confirmation I'm on the right path, doing exactly what God wants me to do. I'm in the right place where God wants me at the right time. And like I say, nobody has tried to stop me from building God's kingdom. When I was in San Diego, we had all the government agencies doing what we want them to do. The fire department, the police department, the school district, we were throwing what we call peace in the park. The whole county, the mayor was there, the city councilmen from all the different districts was there. They were like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? The police, everybody, the fire department, everybody. The teachers, everybody, neighborhood house, everybody. We had like at our first event we threw, it was almost 40 vendors there of nonprofit and government agencies had tents up in the park, and it just grew bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah.
This truly is your ministry.
Yeah. And like I tell people, yeah, Jesus' ministry was in the park. So I said, this is our ministry right here, and it's called Peace in the Park. You know, so like every holiday season, we would come together with all the different government agencies you could think of, Boys and Girls Club. Why it doesn't matter, you know, just it's a true blessing. The lowriders was there. We had lowriders at every event. Man, just everything. The jumpers, rock climb the wall, game trucks, giving away food, toys, clothes, all because nobody wants to stop, you know, like I said, nobody's going to stop you from building God's kingdom. People are going to ask, what do you want? What do you need? And how can I help?
Fascinating.
There'll be a fool to try to, you know, step in your way. And I think people know that.
Yeah, see, absolutely. Fascinating.
I promote it on Facebook. I always tell people I'm building God's kingdom, and people just come on board.
Fascinating. Wow. That is fascinating. It's truly your calling and your ministry that you've operated in. It sounds like what you've done was answer the call, and you have stood in that assignment for the last 20 some odd years. And God bless you for that. God bless you for that. It's so exciting. I'm so happy when I hear people excited about their calling, excited about the assignment that God has placed on your life and living it. Because if he places the assignment on you, just hearing you, he is going to bring the people and he is going to make the way. Whether you have the resources or not, he's going to open it up. So as I hear you speak, it confirms to me even more deeper, because when I became a minister of the gospel, it was quite frustrating and perplexing, because here I am, an attorney, although I've been in the church all my life, but I'm, wired or shaped to think one way. I've always believed in God. I'm highly spiritual. My dad's a pastor, so I know spiritual things. But then I'm older, and now you bring me into ministry. So I said, God, I know you've blessed me with my profession. Now, what is it that you want me to do? Because I don't want to rush ahead of myself and do anything you don't want me to do. And when the assignment became clear, outreach, helping people, and then we acquired the land. The first thing we did was acquire a land to be able to build a safe house for women in domestic abuse and children in Liberia, which I'm praying, to walk into the resources. So I said, Lord, how am I going to do what you want me to do? You're calling me out to help people sustain themselves. No. So I'm listening to you, and I'm getting more hope that as soon as you agree to the calling and begin to walk, God provides the resources. God will bring the people to be able to make that happen. And so I'm so grateful that I'm listening to you, because that gives me hope. That the calling and what he calls me to do, it will be done. It will be done. So kingdom building.
Yeah, it will be done, because listening to you talk, and those women, they're going to need jobs. And so that's our plan with the development homes. The guy, he has a 10,000 square foot warehouse in Houston, and he has like a 2-story tiny home built in there. And so just to show you, we want to build homes like that for them women, but he said he could build a track, because we want to also provide them jobs. Like if they want to work with the farmers or assist with the help of working with the farmers, we want to be able to give them jobs, because we're going to need people in all of these countries that we go and operate in. We want to build them sustainable communities to be able to work on the farms. We're going to be working directly with the farmers. and helping them cultivate the land. So, and I know the farmers are going to need people. So we're going to bridge that gap and create basically economic development along with these sustainable communities. We're not just going to build sustainable communities. We're going to create economic development for every country.
What a fascinating thing. It just brings joy to my heart that, again, people are still willing to help the people of God, the needy, and those people who, and that's what I say, you can give money, but when you create things that will sustain their livelihood, that in and of itself bring dignity back to them, self-pride back to them, self-worth back to them, to be able to own their own home, to be able to go to the farm and work and produce from their own land, have the technology to do that, because that's what is missing. We have land, a lot of land. You're talking in Sierra Leone, especially Liberia, I can speak, you got the land, but what is missing is the technology to sustain that. And here, someone like the brother is coming and saying, okay, what we're going to do is going to help you sustain. But ultimately, to restore the human value back to themselves, it's priceless. It's priceless. I can't tell you how priceless this is.
I feel like we're behind, and like I was telling Brother King and the other brother in Sierra Leone, we need to hurry up. They got the money. They're already on their way to Africa in a week, So we need to hurry up. We're behind. We need to,
we need to hurry up. We need to hurry up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. We need to hurry up. We're so behind. Lord have mercy. Bless our hearts.
We need to hurry up and help these people, man.
I know. This is so precious. This is so precious. It's so precious, but it will be well. It shall be well.
Yeah. I just want to let the people know in Africa that help is on the way. God has heard their prayers, and the prayers is about to be answered. Starting next month. And the brother from Sierra Leone, he's actually in Florida. And he's from Jamaica, but he said he's never been to Sierra Leone. He's just been investing his own money. So
wow.
We need to start with like at least 8,000 acres is needed to start investing in. So we got to identify 8,000 acres or more, and then get the right paperwork and contract signed and agreements and everything. And we can start with the technology. Mainly, they need tractors and things of that nature to be able to develop the land. And it's funny that you said rice, because our people in Sierra Leone, that's what they're harvesting. They're cultivating rice already.
Yeah, because that's the staple food of the people. Liberia, Sierra Leone, also that's staple food, rice. But you will be shocked and surprised that they're not producing it on that scale. They're importing it from China. We had a shortage of rice in the last few months of George Weah's administration. There was a huge shortage, no food. They were waiting because in China, they weren't producing. So here we had months. So the little that was there, the prices were inflated. The people suffered. It was months before things began to stabilize again. But if you're producing on your own land, you don't have to wait, because if the Chinese government or whoever, the producers, are having problems, you're going to suffer. Yeah. But if you're producing on your own, you don't need to wait for them to ship to you before. And your land is fertile. Your land can handle the mass production. It's just like you said, identifying the land, looking at the virginity of the land, and being able to use the technology to grow this product. But like you said, the West, especially Liberia and Sierra Leone, rice is their staple food. So very, very interesting. Very interesting.
They got 6,000 acres, but they don't have tractors. They want to actually get tractors from China, because they said that was like the cheapest tractor they could find. It was like $5,000 for a tractor, and they said that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then they could only produce on 100 acres to 300 acres because they don't have the technology or the resources to do the whole 6,000 acres.
Wow.
But now, like I say, he's gonna go over there, because that's what he says. Like, we don't see them I mean, we don't see you, we see them, which is the Chinese and the Arabs. They said we don't see people from America, our own people. We see the Chinese Arabs. So they're selling the land to the Chinese and the Arabs.
Of course. Oh, of course. You know, right now they think, you know, because we're looking at the, you know, how the world economy is kind of coming together. So you have countries like Russia and China and some of the African countries that are trying to supersede the financial strength power of the United States. And if the United States is not careful, you will definitely have the Chinese, because what the Chinese are doing now, because they know the West is very fertile, they're infiltrating in the West seriously. And you're talking about maybe another 50 years from now, there's going to be a serious competition. Very, very serious competition. Like in Ghana, that the Chinese are massively building all over malls and all these things in their country. So we got competition, like you said. We got to hurry up.
Yeah, we do. I know personally, like at least like 100 people that go back and I know personally like 100 people that go back and forth, but that's not nearly enough to cover the whole West, not even just the West Coast of Africa. That's only like 2 people in every state or every country.
That is so funny. We got to get these people on ground, these foot soldiers on ground. We got to hurry up. That's what I'll take from this interview. And I get out, we got to hurry up. Wow, this definitely feels like a conversation, which is so good, rather than an interview. Like, you know, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm really having fun on this.
I just want like our people to know the need and what needs to be done. So when they see this, they're gonna know, okay, we got this, we got that, and we know what we need to do. With no question, absolutely. You know, we gotta hurry up. You gotta hurry up, get over there. Yeah, that's just it, you know. Because like I said, we got the money. Now we gotta just connect the dots with our people, get these contracts signed, and that's it. You know, we gotta, you know, identify the land, get the contract signed, and that's it. Let's go.
That's good. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this. And that's the most important thing. The financial backing is the most important thing. Once you have that, you have at least, you know, 60% of what it is. Now, like you said, connecting the dots, finding the right people, and being able to execute so that you have no glitches. And this certainly will be done. You have some good people, a great team, seems like. So we'll be praying that their trip, especially the ones going to Nigeria, will commit to prayer. Tell them I'll be praying for them as well.
I want to try to get you on a phone with them on the conversation before. So today is Sunday, so hopefully sometime this week you can let me know when you're available. I could let them know that we
absolutely we can exchange. I guess after the show we'll exchange contact and phone numbers so that we can definitely stay in contact.
Yeah, and
that'd be wonderful.
Yes. I'm gonna send them this video. Let them know we have an immigration attorney who's already working and doing wonderful things in Liberia, and that's what they were saying when we just had our team phone call. Any parts of Africa that we could identify as land, they got the money to invest, but they just started in Nigeria because they already got the relationship going.
That would definitely be good because I certainly know the administration in Liberia, so that would be an easy one to just kind of walk in and get these things, because one of the things they are looking for is investment, especially in these in agriculture. It's huge. It's huge. So my kids say super excited.
Yes, great. The more countries that we can operate in, the better for all of our people. All of our people, because we ain't doing it just for us. We're doing it for our people. And it's going to trickle all the way out around, reverberate throughout the whole diaspora.
That's it. Bringing these people back on board. And the more we spread this, the more like the people in the diaspora coming on board, because that's another thing that we need. Like I said, I want to kind of put together this initiative, bringing these people back, because for example, in the judicial system in my own country, or even in most of the countries in the West, which I've kind of studied, most of the judicial system is fractured, right? So you have people who are in the legal system here, and I'm saying, look, listen, let's go home. Because if we're a part of it, we're going to do it the way we've learned it here, the way we've understood it here, the following the rules and procedures and things like that, and not bribing people through or not circumventing the laws to get what you want. Because that's what you're going to be met with. You know, people circumventing laws that is on the books to get what you want and things like that. So you want people from the diaspora to go home so that we can be able to operate, so that when investors are coming, when people are coming in, we can create a trustworthy pattern that people are easy and happy to invest their money. Thank God you've had success, but there's also people who have had some disastrous time. And then we got to also call it as it is because of the mistrust. Their money and things are falling in the hands of people that they're not operating it correctly. You know what I mean? So that also is a huge problem that needs to be addressed, but it can only be addressed unless people like us from the diaspora are going home, or at least operating some of these sectors, so that people can feel comfortable again to invest and come back home and pour their money into these countries. Because the resources are there, the mineral resources are there, but you got people who can come in. That's why you see people coming from different countries and going into Africa and building the infrastructures and building these things. Because if I took money, give it to the government, and say, build these roads, because you got a village, a small, tiny village, but that have no egress out, you know, they can't, unless people come in and can give them. But see, you give it to the government, say, okay, we're donating money so you can fix it. And you give them, like it says, $5 million. They might take 4 million and then probably put a little small strip. And the people are happy because they think that's what they deserve. Not knowing someone has given money to be able to develop roads for people to go in and out. Because the more developed roads, you're going to have more trade. Yeah. People from the farm, you know, the villages, the people in the villages are the ones that are willing to do the farming. It's not the people in the city, because you don't have the land for people to. So most of these lands are existing out in the coastlands or in the villages. And here you have, when you give, that's why I'm stressing on having people reaching the right people, following the trail of their money and their investment. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm so glad and happy that God has been so faithful to you, because you've answered the call. And so things have been going well. But we also need to open our eyes as you're moving to hit your right people, because some people have been burned. But this is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And that's why God has given people like you the kind of heart and the spirit to say, I want to help my people. That's it. I mean, at the end of the day, that's exactly what it boils down to. I'm following what Jesus said for us to do, and that's to help the needy, the people among us that are less fortunate. That's it. That is it.
And that's what we're doing in San Diego when all the government agencies are like, what do you need? What do you need? Because we're not doing it for us. We didn't get anything out of that but joy and blessings from seeing people smile. That's all we wanted, to make sure that we put smiles on people's faces and families' faces. That's all we ask. You know, the company that I'm working with is actually called the Ark of the Return.
Oh, wow.
And so when you say we want to get people back, or you know, the Ark of the Return, that's what it's all about. Fulfilling God's prophecy of having our people go back home.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I didn't find them. God sent them my way.
Wow. That's wonderful. That's so wonderful.
Yeah, wow. I was going to say, we can wrap it up if you want. You know, we've been on for over an hour, like an hour and a half.
We've been talking for an hour and a half. Yeah. Listen, that's how interesting this has been. I didn't even realize the time, but I am, we can wrap it up. I'm doing a Facebook Live today. My daughter and I were doing a Facebook Live prayer meets worship.
Okay.
And I took surgery on my knees, total knee replacement on the right knee. So I've been home medical leave for some weeks now, almost 9 weeks, trying to hit 12 weeks. And so I've been every month I've done the prayer meets worship where we go on Facebook and we just worship with the people. And I pray, we pray for the nations, we pray for families, we're praying for children, especially our children. Our children have been so hit, even in this country. You know, the internet has just taken over. The enemy is just, that's another conversation.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's another conversation. So today at 2 our time, we're going to do, prayer. We're going to do that where we're just going to pray. We're just going to worship with the people. So I would definitely, we can wrap up so I could try to get my mind and prayerfully start getting ready for that. But I definitely want to get your phone number, you get mine, or I text you, and then so that we can set up a time to connect with the people that during the course and connect with you. I mean, I would love to further this conversation about, the sustainable life and just ideas that you have and things like that. So I can be blessed. And it looks like our brother, the network fell off. So
Yeah. He sent me a message that the network is too bad over there.
Oh,
we're gonna be fixing all of that anyway. So that's all part of God's plan.
We can definitely do this again. So at least he can be a part of it. I'm like, where's what's the third amigo? The three amigos.
Yeah, I really I like when he's on, because he has more input and everything like that he likes to add, and I like to hear his input always too. From the African perspective. It's real important that we always get his perspective from South Africa. So
absolutely,
I'm gonna have to go to work as well. I left work so I can come and do this, and I'm gonna go back.
Oh wow! Oh wow! What is your number? Let me y'all can cut that part out anyway. So, but what is your phone number? And your name again is Timothy.
Timothy McClure.
Let me put it in. McCloy?
McClure, MCCLURE.
Oh, McCloy. Oh, wow. I've never heard of McCloy. Oh, McCloy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I had just called the number. Okay. I rung you.
Okay, that's fine.
You know my name. Yeah, 609. I grew up in Jersey. That's so Jersey number.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So whenever you got mine, is your Facebook contact your name? Because I want to join in live.
Oh, yeah. It's Kemah Thoronka. So not Gway Thoronka. It's Kemah Thoronka, Thoronka. So it's on Facebook. We're going to try to do the live stream through StreamYard. So this is the first time we're going to try it. So hopefully the StreamYard will go to the Kemah Thoronka or the YouTube, which is Kemah Thoronka, or the Instagram, which is Kemah Thoronka. So if you type in Kemah Thoronka and Facebook, it's going to be there.
Okay, great.
But we're going to try. And we do have a women's conference coming up called Every Chain Must Be Broken. I was asked my administrator to send you the video. It's a short video. It's also a virtual and live broadcast this Saturday coming. So
okay,
so
great.
people can see.
Yeah,
Thank
send
you.
me that too.
Thank you.
Okay, thank everyone for joining. Thank everyone for joining us as always, and we hope to see you next time. We're out.
Absolutely.
God bless.
God bless you. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to working with all of you again. Thank you. God bless you.
It's been a blessing. Man, like I said, I'm excited now. We have a sister queen like you. It's a part of the team. And thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
It's been a blessing.
Thank you so much. In regard to your family and everyone. Thank you. I'm sure we'll do this again.
Likewise.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.